In this segment, we're going to demonstrate how Data Labs helps reduce the DBA's workload by automating and delegating the administration of the labs. We're going to use the Lab Group Setup portlet to create a lab group for the finance department. And in this process, we'll be demonstrating how easy it will be to administrate the labs in this lab group. So we're going to go ahead and name our lab group Finance, and it's going to go in the DBC database, and we'll give it 10 gigabytes of space, and we'll make the default lab size 30 megabytes, and by default labs will expire after 6 months. We'll go ahead and put in a lab prefix in case later on we want to constrain the queries using TASM. So we'll make the prefix FIN, and we can provide load instructions that'll be shown to the users when they're looking at these labs. We're going to recommend that they use fast load for large data sets. And finally, Data Labs provides email notifications to lab owners under certain conditions. And here we're setting up the defaults. We'll just leave these defaults so that if a lab is going to expire in 2 weeks, we'll send out an email notification to the owners. And likewise, if the lab is running out of space, in fact, if it gets to 90% full, we'll also send out an email notification. We're also going to have Dan delegate primary responsibility for administration of this lab to Sam. And Sam's not actually a DBA, he's a power user in the finance department, so he can be the primary point of contact for the finance department and also have full administration capabilities. We don't need to use the private user option. And make the labs in this lab group really easy to administrate. We're going to make all the finance users default members of all the labs in the lab group. So there's a role out there called Finance, and that role is mapped to all my finance users. So I'll just go ahead and add that role to this lab group. And finally, I'm going to set up the rules about how requests are approved. Now, every time a user in the finance group wants to make a change to a lab or create a new lab, that's going to generate a request. And that request has to be processed. And by default, the way it's set up right now, either Dan or Sam will need to approve every request that comes in before it actually gets executed. We're going to ease up on these restrictions by automatically approving most of the requests, and also for requests to increase lab size, we're going to allow them to be increased up to 30 megabytes automatically, and above that point it's going to require approval. Likewise, we're going to allow users to get a 90-day extension without approval, or to create labs up to 20 megabytes. So above any of these thresholds, either Dan or Sam will have to approve, but below these thresholds, all the user requests will get approved automatically. So we would only want to use these options in a situation where we have a fair amount of trust in our users. Let's go ahead and create this lab group.